Are you bored at home? The governor has plans on how we can reopen the state and finally get out of the house. Coming up in our lead report.
And sporting events are canceled, but that doesn't mean you can't stay active at home. Noel has some ideas for you in sports.
Has the stay-at-home order got you thinking there's nothing to watch? Well, think again. There's plenty for you on the small screen. We have the scoop in entertainment.
And Jesus Lopez will tell us how much rain we can expect this week and how will that impact our already saturated ground. Find out in weather. Newscene starts now.
Welcome to this edition of Newscene. As the stay-at-home order remains in place, Newscene continues to work remotely, but our commitment to bringing you the news of the week remains as strong as ever.
The COVID-19 pandemic continues to grow locally as county officials have reported 75 new cases and 3 more deaths. And nationwide, another grim milestone has been reached. More than 30,000 people have died from the coronavirus. It is the highest total in the world according to Johns Hopkins University. Locally, attention has been turned towards the homeless population as testing has increased for those who are currently housed at the San Diego Convention Center.
Did you get it? The first round of stimulus checks went out to the 80 million Americans this week, but others are still waiting. Direct deposits were made to people who filed their taxes starting with lower incomes up to $99,000 annually. Those who don't have direct deposit will receive a check in the mail in the next few weeks. If you haven't received your check, you can go to irs.gov/coronavirus to check your status.
Beaten down by the coronavirus outbreak, the world economy in 2020 will suffer its worst year. According to the International Monetary Fund, the world economy will drop to levels not seen since the Great Depression in the 1930s. It expects the global economy to shrink 3% this year. That will be far worse than even the Great Recession in 2009.
House Democrats have proposed a bill that would expand the federal government's coronavirus relief payments. The bill sets to increase the cash payments to $2,000 on a monthly basis until the end of the pandemic. Under the new proposal, every American aged 16 and older earning less than $130,000 annually will receive the payments. Couples making less than $260,000 will receive twice that amount, plus an additional $500 for each child.
The support for Joe Biden on his road to the Democratic nomination only continues to grow. And Barack Obama has finally endorsed his former VP. Obama's nod came days before Senator Elizabeth Warren became the last of Biden's major Democratic rivals to endorse him. Warren took her support a step further, saying she would be willing to serve as VP to Biden if asked. As for Obama, he released a video in which he talked about the qualities that would make Biden a great president.
The kind of leadership that's guided by knowledge and experience, honesty and humility, empathy and grace. That kind of leadership doesn't just belong in our state capitals and mayor's offices. It belongs in the White House. And that's why I'm so proud to endorse Joe Biden for President of the United States.
Moving to California news, the question on everybody's mind, when will the stay-at-home order end? What can we expect to hear from the governor? Ben?
Thanks, Vicky and Bernice. California Governor Gavin Newsom has released his plan to reopen the state after the COVID-19 pandemic. Newsom made it clear his framework would be based on public health, not politics, and the return to life as we knew it would happen gradually.
The prospect of mass gatherings is negligible at best until we get to herd immunity and we get to a vaccine. So large-scale events that bring in hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of strangers all together across every conceivable difference, health and otherwise, is not in the cards based upon our current guidelines and current expectations.
The governor offered 6 indicators for deciding when to reopen the economy. They include monitoring and supporting those exposed, keeping those most at risk safe from infection, preparing organizations for surges in cases, developing sufficient treatments, preparing schools and businesses for social distancing, and determining when to reinstitute stay-at-home orders if needed. With all of that in mind, Newsom said he'd be ready to give a response as to when California will reopen by the first week of May. Still, he worries about lifting the order too soon, which could result in a more rapid spread of the virus.
I know you want the timeline, but we can't get ahead of ourselves and dream of regretting. Let's not make the mistake of pulling the plug too early, as much as we all want to.
Newsom acknowledged the severe impact COVID-19 has had on the state's economy. Nearly 2.3 million citizens have registered for unemployment in the last month. That's more than the total amount of claims in all of 2019. The Department of Economic Development is extending its hours in an effort to handle the rising claims. Despite the circumstances, California has managed to circumvent the situation plaguing other states like New York. California's peak for COVID-related fatalities came on April 8th, when 66 people died. The numbers have since been on the decline. We will continue to follow the story as news develops. Until then, back to you, Vicky and Bernice.
Thanks, Ben. And this morning, it was announced that Comic-Con has been canceled. We'll have more on all the major events canceled later in the show. In other news, California's DMV locations are closed, but driver's licenses are still expiring. That's why everyone with a clean driving record is getting a 60-day extension on any licensee expiring between March and May. Seniors over 75 automatically get a 120-day extension. Law enforcement has already been notified of the new deadlines, but drivers can request a free temporary extension card from the DMV website.
The San Diego Unified Districts will officially begin paying school staff hazard pay. On Tuesday night, the Board of Education held a remote meeting where they approved emergency coronavirus measures. Staff who are still interacting with students by distributing laptops and meals will be receiving time and a half pay for days worked since March 16th. It was also decided that students will not be given grades lower than what they had before schools were closed.
During this coronavirus pandemic, many students going remote lack the resources to continue their studies at home. San Diego City College wants to help by providing its students laptops. The school has kicked off an online fundraiser online with a goal to buy 5,000 laptops. To help, visit sdcity.edu/donate.
Dr. Anthony Fauci announced on Tuesday he believes professional sports could return this summer, but only without fans. The nation's top infection disease expert told Snapchat sports like professional baseball would only be able to return with restrictions. That could include keeping players under quarantine and testing them regularly. The pandemic has led to the cancellation of virtually all mass gatherings nationwide.
You may not be able to watch sports, but athletes are still working out, and you can too. Noah has the scoop on exercising while at home.
These days, exercise may seem to be the last thing on everyone's minds, but more people are working out than you'd think.
They're running marathons on balconies, volleyball with dogs, and sports legends using their kids as workout gear. With everyone staying away from the gym, fitness online is surging in popularity, and an endless list of options to break a sweat are just a click away. Free classes from some of the largest fitness companies are now fully online. Barry's Boot Camp has workouts on Instagram Live. Tony Horton, the creator of P90X, streams on Facebook.
Soft landings for.
And Orange Theory is taking its training to IGTV. Even Peloton is offering a 30-day trial for its app-based fitness program.
And you don't need one of their bikes to do the workout either. You can use what you already have, one of your own stationary bikes or treadmills.
And if sweat isn't your thing, try yoga. It's great for the body and the mind.
Inhale, chair pose. Bend your knees, sit low. Weight is in your heels. Soften your shoulders.
Core Power Yoga, a place where classes are normally $26, is offering free virtual sessions.
No matter what gets you moving, there are plenty of ways to stay active during this quarantine time. From Newscene, I'm Noelle Mortensen. Namaste.
Thanks, Noel. I'll make sure I'll check those links out. And in sports news, a tough loss for the 49ers may have been a win for California against the coronavirus. According to a Wall Street Journal report, the 49ers would have held a parade in downtown San Francisco in early February if they won Super Bowl. That could have helped spread the coronavirus. At that time of the game, Santa Clara County had already reported 2 positive cases of COVID-19. Kansas City didn't report its first positive case until March 18.
In-person events are canceled, but many more are popping up all over TV and online. Joel has more on what we can look forward to.
Thanks, Vicky and Bernice. We start off with celebrities teaming up for a good cause. This Saturday, a 2-hour special event, One World Together at Home, worldwide. The program is being produced by Lady Gaga, the WHO, and Global Citizen Poverty Movement. It'll feature appearances from big-name athletes and stars, including Andrea Bocelli, Lindsey Vonn, and Oprah. The special will be hosted by Stephen Colbert, Jimmy Fallon, and Jimmy Kimmel. It will air locally at 8 p.m. on multiple TV networks and streaming providers. And one streaming platform is announcing a big new release. The documentary From Murder to Mercy, the Cyntoia Brown story, will be available soon on Netflix. It centers around the story of Cyntoia Brown Long. She was forced into prostitution, found guilty of murder in 2006, and sentenced to life in jail. Brown Long is called the documentary an unauthorized production. Her sentence was commuted last year. The documentary comes out on April 29th. And finally, in the midst of this pandemic, we have some good news. Singer Ciara tweeted out a video where she and husband, NFL quarterback Russell Wilson, shared a fun gender reveal. With Candace blasting blue smoke, the couple revealed that the singer is having a boy, much to Wilson's excitement. It will be their second child together, the first being 2-year-old daughter, Sienna. We wish nothing but the best for the happy family. And that is all for entertainment. Back to you.
Thank you, Joel. The One World concert looks great, but what isn't great, earlier this week the San Diego County Fair was called off. The Del Mar Fair Board made the announcement after Governor Newsom prohibited large summer gatherings. The new dates will be similar to this year's, and the theme, Heroes Unite, will be the same. San Diego Pride has also been canceled, along with, as we shared earlier in the show, Comic-Con.
A low-pressure system will bring noticeable changes to our local forecast. Jesus, what changes are we expecting?
Thank you, Bernice, and that's right. We do have to wait a whole other year to go to the county fair, but it's better to be safe than sorry. With the more local news, let's dive into our weather headlines because we do have rain, wind, and snow heading our way. March and April have been wet, but if we continue the trend, we could set records. And so far, we've had 6 major rain events in Southern California. Could we see more? I'll tell you in our weather segment, but let's dive into our weather conditions because tonight we do have those clouds in our area. The cloud will bring that rain as we see the storm continue to push inland. The storm will bring some gusty winds for our mountain communities, 20 to 30 miles per hour wind. And the chance of snow, that's right, we're talking about snow in spring. But the storm system will tap into some cool air, and the cool air will transition the rain into snow. For the desert, it will be fairly dry, but the wind will be the main factor, 20 to 30 miles per hour, and temperatures will be in the 50s. Talking about temperatures, tonight's low will be in the 50s as well along the coast. 52 for San Diego, 56 or upper 50s for Oceanside, Mount Julian, 38 degrees. The higher we go in elevation, the cooler it will get. Then that rain will transition into snow. With our rain accumulation, we could see, or we could expect out of this storm system, 1/10 to 1/4 of an inch. And if we continue to accumulate more rain, we could end the month being the second most wet of the year. So we could be setting records. Now with our 5-day forecast, Sunday will be a beautiful day, upper 60s here in the coast. Expect those nighttime lows in the 50s. But for Monday, early next week, if you are an essential worker and you're heading to work, make sure you're grabbing that umbrella before you head out because we do have some rain chances. Stay safe out there. Back to you.
Thank you, Jesus. And finally, tonight, we may not be having the best time staying inside our homes, but Yosemite bears are sure enjoying their extra space. Bears at the California National Park have been seen more frequently by park rangers since the closure of the park. And no surprise, the bears seem to be more relaxed. During this time of year, the surge in human traffic is stressful for the park animals. There are around 500 bears in Yosemite National Park.
Lucky bears! Yosemite is really beautiful this time of year. I can't wait to head back there. Well, that's all the news we have for you tonight. We'll be back next week. Until then, make sure you follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Thank you for watching and stay safe and healthy.